Well, yesterday, another great Rockies memory was created. Chris Nelson stealing home. The Rockies come from 5 down to win 6-5. They have won 7 in a row. That is a season best as they get ready to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. First of 3 this weekend at Coors Field. The Rockies a season best now, 76-64, 12 games north of 500. There's Chris Nelson, unassuming by day, late at night. Look out. And good evening, everybody, with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. What an exciting finish. It didn't look good in the first couple innings yesterday, Frazier.
Things looked pretty ugly yesterday in the first couple innings, trailing 5-zip, and then everything started to fall into place for the Rockies. And you just get that feeling. It's that time of the year. It's in Lodo. Magic seems to happen, and it happens on a daily basis.
And with that win, the Rockies are now 3.5 behind the division-leading San Diego Padres. They're not too far behind San Francisco either. And then in the wild card, they're 3.5 back there also. Again, chasing the Giants and now the Atlanta Braves.
Well, the best part about it, you got San Diego, San Francisco going head-to-head over the next 3 days. So you're going to gain ground on somebody if you can win some baseball games. And in yesterday's ball game, the Rockies, you looked at it, said, do they have a chance? Well, Giambi got things going for them with a long ball to dead center field, his 5th of the year. And that made a big difference, obviously, into the ball game. And then, oh, yeah, Tulowitzki to the opposite field. The numbers he's put up lately has carried this ball club along with Gonzalez. One doesn't do it, the other doesn't. And then probably the most exciting play is if you watch Massett on the mound, he freezes and goes to second base. He thought the runner at first was going, and Melvin Mora, and he wasn't going, and he locked up. And this was just home free for Chris Nelson to put the Rocky Ball Club back on top.
Suicide squeeze was on. Chris Nelson said, just in case, I guess I'm going to swipe the bag myself. What a wild finish yesterday. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jeff Houston will be along. That's the feeling of everybody around 20th and Blake. Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks getting set. All smiles with Chris Nelson and Dexter Fowler. Welcome back. Up top, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies and the Diamondbacks have split 12 games so far this year. The Rockies have been very good against the two teams in front of them, San Diego in particular, and they've played pretty well against the Giants. Now they have to get after not only this team, but the Dodgers a little bit later on in the month. For more on this story, we go field level with my buddy Jeff Houston. Huey?
Well, Drew, you know, a lot of times in football they talk about trap games. Well, this could be a trap series because you think about the last three. They've beaten 3 first-place teams, but now you're going up against the last-place team in your division, a team, though, that on the season you're 6-6 against, although the numbers might suggest that the record should be better just on the batting average, the home runs, the pitcher's ERA. But what it's come down to is the Rockies have to go out there this whole series, not just tonight, but for the next 3 games, and play like they know they can. And Jim Tracy was posed this question earlier today. How do you get up for a team like Arizona? He said, that's pretty easy because we're in a pennant race right now. Every game is important. It doesn't matter what the other team is doing or the other uniform, anything like that. Are we going to go out tonight and execute? If they go out and execute, they fully expect to win. And I'm about 25 feet away from the dugout here. You can tell the guys are pretty focused tonight.
Huey, the Bad News Bears could roll into town. The Rockies would be fired up. They're looking to make it 8 straight. Colorado, Arizona. Come on back to Lodo with us. Baseball on FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. Buy E470, use E470, and you'll get to the airport with time to spare. And by the Ford Escape, so much fun, so little fuel. Ford Escape, drive one. Good crowd expected at Coors Field tonight. The Rockies continue this homestand after sweeping 4 from the first-place Cincinnati Reds. You look at Steve and Drew in the on-deck circle. Good hitter, everyday shortstop for the Diamondbacks, and will be followed in Kirk Gibson's lineup by Rusty Ryle. Ryle's playing left field because Justin Upton, who normally play right field, has a bad shoulder. He's been out for a while. More on him a little later on. Kelly Johnson's had a terrific year. Chris Young has had a bounce-back season. Adam LaRoche, tough hitter, especially in this second half. Mark Reynolds, Miguel Montero, Gerardo Parra hitting .375 over his last dozen. And then Joe Saunders, the former Angel. First pitch is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space in your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 12. One weekly winner will be chosen. So it's a couple of left-handers, Jorge De La Rosa and Joe Saunders.
Well, the left-hander Saunders has had a lot of success, but you can't overlook what De La Rosa has been able to accomplish, particularly in the last 5 starts against Arizona. 4-1 with a 138 earned run average. They've hit just 168 against him.
He seems to be getting a little bit better each and every start as he's rounding more into midseason form after missing 2.5 months with that flexor tendon issue in his finger. 1 ball, 1 strike on Drew.
9 straight starts, 3 or less runs allowed. His record over that fan has just been 3-2. There's the season numbers in 88 1/3 innings, 86 strikeouts.
Outside, 2-1.
Left-handers only hitting a .148 against De La Rosa with just 1 home run given up, yet they have a few lefties in their lineup tonight.
They have 5 to be exact. Very unusual. That's high, 3-1.
Well, most of these guys that are in there, you look at LaRoche, you look at Kelly Johnson, Drew, those guys all driving in a lot of runs, everyday players. They play against the best left-handers as well as the right-handers. There's not any platoon situation for him there. Montero, the everyday catcher, left-handed.
Parr is the guy that wouldn't be in there.
Well, Upton with the strained shoulder out of the lineup. And it's not any worse or any better, according to Jerry Dipoto, and quotes the paper today, the former Rocky, now acting general manager of the Diamondbacks.
Arizona's played better under Kirk Gibson. They were over 500 in the month of August. They've not been great in the last few days. They've lost 4 of 5. They did win their last outing. That was on Wednesday. They were off yesterday. They beat the Giants. Here's the 3-2 on Drew leading off the game, and it's fouled off. In fact, overall, Arizona 19-17 their last 36. So they have played better baseball.
26-35 overall under Gibson.
You know, the lefties that we spoke of, George, they all hang in against left-handed pitching. And this is a ground ball to second. Eric Young on the backhand side will retire Stephen Drew. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. In the outfield, Carlos Gonzalez. Wow, he's getting to play again. Shocking. Dexter Fowler in center field. Ryan Spilborghs will be in right. Mora and Tulowitzki left side. Eric Young, Todd Helton on the right side. Miguel Olivo is behind the plate. Quick update on Ian Stewart. Stewart was scheduled to come off the disabled list today, but he's not ready to go. He was making nice progress till about 4 days ago, and then he kind of retweaked that oblique. There's a strike on Rusty Ryle, and he's not doing any baseball activities right now, which means it's going to be a while. Here's the 0-1 on Ryle, and he fouls this one back to the right of us, 0-2. One of the things Bob Apodaca, George, has talked about with De La Rosa is when he gets ahead 0-2, 1-2, don't always go soft.
Well, don't always go
because
soft.
He throws in the mid-90s.
Don't always go soft, but yet those strikes. Don't nibble either. That's the other thing that he does, and that's why the pitch count gets driven up so much.
Well, he struck him out with what looked like a hard slider. 2 outs.
Well, on the Hyundai Cam, right out of the hand, you're going to see a big, hard breaking slider. It appears, and Reynolds, he's a low ball hitter anyway, but you're going to get him to chase, and that ball's a little bit out of the strike zone.
Well, Jeff Houston, this guy coming to the plate, Kelly Johnson's had a fine season for Arizona coming over from Atlanta.
Well, 20 home runs already. Only trailing Jay Bell, who was a longtime second baseman for the D-backs. But he is a very, very good player. And that's where early on he was hitting leadoff, and now it's best for him to be hitting out the number 3 hole. And just to go back to that point, as many left-handers are in the lineup, I think it has to do with Kirk Gibson was a left-handed hitter, and he's just like, forget it. Left on left, right on right, it doesn't matter.
There's the curveball, which I think partially, George, because of that finger, De La Rosa does not use nearly as much as we saw him use last year.
Well, I think that's why you see the amount of changeups up from throwing 6% of them to into the teens per start too.
This is slowly hit. Helton's going to need help, and it's a glove flip to De La Rosa, and the Rockies get off the field with a 1-2-3 start. Well done by Helton. De La Rosa, very good through the Arizona first three. We'll see the Rockies on offense against Joe Saunders when we return. Arizona Diamondbacks tied at 6 apiece in the season series thus far. The Rockies still have 3 more to go down in Phoenix in about a week. Eric Young naturally will lead things off. He's been in that spot every day over the last several weeks. He'll be followed by his buddy Dexter Fowler. Then Cargo at 337, leading the National League. 16-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. He has torn up his original organization. Tulowitzki, 6 home runs, last 8 games for Troy. Melvin Mora, Todd Helton, Ryan Spilborghs, Miguel Olivo, and Jorge De La Rosa. Joe Saunders on the hill. The Rockies saw him back in June in Anaheim when he was still with the Angels, and he pitched an outstanding ball game against Colorado.
4 hits in 7 innings, couple of runs. He struck out 8. That was the high of the year for him with 8 strikeouts. He hasn't seen him since putting on a Diamondback uniform. Think about this. Highest winning percentage in 08-09 among Major League pitchers. Lincecum, Wainwright, Daisuke at Boston, and then Joe Saunders is 4th. He has the highest winning percentage of any left-handers over that 2-year span at 33-14.
What he is for me, Jeff, is a guy that really gets the most out of his ability.
Well, because he's not overpowered. He doesn't have one pitch that scares you as a hitter. He's got the fastball that'll be right around 90, 92 miles an hour. And it's a little bit of a slider, a little bit of a changeup, but nothing that really blows you away and says, uh-oh, he's going to go to this nasty slider.
Well, what he really does is he slams the brakes on everything when guys get on base. He keeps you off balance with his pitches. And evident of that is with runners on and 2 outs and runners in scoring position, they've hit just 240 against him.
2-2, ground ball up the middle, base hit for EY. He's now 8 for his last 16 at the plate. That will work. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively. Rusty Riles in left field, versatile defender. Chris Young at center, good center fielder. Gerardo Parra's in right. He's more of a left fielder. Reynolds and Drew left side. Johnson and LaRoche. LaRoche has a good glove at first. And Miguel Montero has improved a lot over the last 12 months defensively.
Well, and you got a pitcher on the mound and Joe Saunders that is outstanding. 1 error in 123 games that he's appeared in at the big league level. And it's evident he becomes a very big part of double plays.
And they pick off Eric Young to begin. And did he beat the throw? No. Well, EY tried to go first move on Joe Saunders. Element of surprise, Huey?
Yeah, because they were waiting to see if he was even going to throw over there, and then of course he didn't. And then Eric tried to get to the inside part and make it difficult for LaRoche, but being the left-hander, it made the throw easier for him to get it to Stephen Drew.
1-0 count on Dexter Fowler. Caught stealing 1-3-6 is how you score that. 2-0 on Dex. Saunders, 29-year-old, 6'3", 210 pounds, product of Virginia Tech University.
#1 draft pick by the Angels in 2002. 12th pick overall. That's the year the Rockies took Jeff Francis.
Two good left-handers in that first round. 3-0. That's in there. He typically, George mentioned the 8 strikeouts of the Rockies season high. Typically, he's not going to strike out a lot. He's not going to walk a lot either. And this is pulled to third. Reynolds with a bad throw, and Dexter is going to move up. In fact, Dexter may try to go to third. No, he's going to shut it down there as Kelly Johnson got to the baseball. That's been a continuing theme, Huey, with Mark Reynolds.
Yeah, 18 errors now on the season for Reynolds. He does the hard part by going to his left, and then once you go to your left, you go ahead and decide to spin, but he opened up too much, and that ball probably cut from my angle at least a foot, foot and a half, and I know LaRoche tried to stay on the bag, but that ball just kept running away from him.
See if the Rockies can take advantage of the gift with 1 out. Here's the former Diamondback farmhand, Carlos Gonzalez, originally signed by Arizona, and then went in that Dan Herron deal to Oakland. Yesterday, Carlos was 0 for 4. That snapped the 16-game hitting streak in which he hit .516. He's still leading the National League in hitting over Joey Votto by 14 points. He almost hit a 2-run home run to tie the ball game in his third at bat yesterday. Flew out to the wall in center.
He's had trouble with Saunders, and I think the reason why is because everything is off speed. It's from different angles. It has different breaks. 1 for 6 in his young career against Joe Saunders.
Here's the 0-1. And he pulled the string. It's 0-2. Just as George described. Here's the update on the Triple Crown contenders, and here's your MVP contenders as well. Cargo tied for the RBI lead with Votto, leading in batting average and home runs. Albert's hit a couple over the last couple of days. He's got 37. Gonzalez and Votto tied at 32. 0-2, and he strikes him out on a breaking ball. 2 outs, and here comes Troy Tulowitzki. Well, who wants tacos, fans? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 runs in a game or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special from Taco Bell. Tied the game in the 8th with a towering fly ball deep into the right field seats. 6 home runs in his last 18 ball games.
Opposite field yesterday on a high fastball that was away from him. He keeps saying his wrist isn't 100%, but to hit balls like that, folks, it's pretty close. If it's not 100, it's 99.9. Opposite field above the auxiliary scoreboard.
Two 2-0. Here's the Amica hit zone for Tulowitzki. This is home runs hit. He's hit 4 home runs, Jeff, on balls out, away from him, up in the zone. We all know that he likes the ball up.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, that was the one that was just eating him up, but he made the adjustment and able to get on top of him now.
3-0 on Tulowitzki.
And that's pretty impressive to have 4 up and away from you. But that just shows you the strength that he has. We just saw it on that home run that he hit yesterday, to be able to hit it as far as he did. That was about 8 to 10 rows back over on top of that auxiliary scoreboard.
Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated. I don't think he'll give him a fastball here. But he did. Wow. I was surprised. Weren't you, George?
Yeah, very surprised by it. Unless he has a little bit of factor in his mind right now with Melvin Mora and the on-deck circle and the history that they would have, because Mora's 9 for 21. With a home run and 3 RBIs against Joe Saunders in his career.
Outside. I like how Jim Tracy posed his lineup today. putting Mora, another right-hand bat, behind Tulowitzki, so you didn't automatically go, well, I'll go left on left, say with Todd Helton.
Well, absolutely you do. And again, you also know that he's looking at a lot of history of what these two guys have between them and the success that's happened with them. His numbers on the year as the playing time continues to come to him. You see those RBI totals go up, the average staying steady at 275.
Here's Helton on deck. Mora with 2 outs has Fowler at second, Tulowitzki at first. Montero smothers it, no advancement.
Montero on the season has only thrown out 24% of would-be base stealers. He has 5 passed balls on the season.
One 1-0 on Mora. Chris Young at center field, deep and shaded toward right center. On the corner. Rockies not only have their longest win streak of the year at 7 games, it's currently the longest winning streak going in the big leagues. And everybody around baseball now saying the same thing. Here come the Rockies again. Ground ball up the middle. Does it have eyes? Smothered by Johnson. Safe there. And Fowler looked to home, and Stephen Drew, aware of what kind of speed he had in front of him, scrambled to his feet. The bases loaded for Helton.
Well, I tell you, Joe Saunders today is like 2 balls get by him up the middle. Normally he makes plays on, but because he fell off third base side, that's right off of his glove. Good job by Kelly Johnson. The no-look throw to Drew, but Drew missed the bag. So a base hit for Melvin Mora. Those numbers now 10 for 22 against Joe Saunders in his career.
How about the slide at Troy going into second base? Kelly Johnson from the Hyundai cam on the other side of second.
Yeah, Helton got fooled on that breaking ball. That or it's a world-class setup, Huey.
Probably got fooled a little bit.
Todd just 1 for his last 22. Now would be a prime time to break out of the slump. He saw that out of the hand. You can see as he followed it all the way to the catcher's glove. That looked like an early, a late February, early March drill when you're just tracking in spring training.
Little Pete Rose. Took it all the way to the glove.
1-1, bases jammed. Inside 2-1.
That's just the 8th time Todd has had an opportunity this year to hit with the bases loaded. He has 1 hit in those other 7 opportunities. I mentioned 2 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Joe Saunders gets tough. They've hit .240 against him for the season.
2-1, ground ball, base hit. Here comes Tulowitzki with the Rockies' second run. Mora will go first to third. Todd Helton coming through. You mentioned the numbers this year, but let's not forget, career-wise, a .352 hitter with the bases loaded. That was enormous.
More than anything, huge confidence for the Rockies and then also for Todd Helton. Ground ball back up the middle. Fastball that's set up into the middle of the plate at 90 miles an hour. You see that infield wide open up the middle. That allowed the 2 speedsters to come around to score and for Mora to get into third base. Todd Helton, I think he is excited about being able to help his ball club with that hard clap of the hands to drive in too early.
Here's Spilborghs. And that pitch misses according to Greg Gibson. Ball 1. Spilborghs quietly has a 4-game hitting streak, 5 for 9 during the stretch. And Montero has to dig that out of the dirt. And now, Jeff Houston, it's already a 27-pitch inning. And as we all know who follow baseball, particularly the National League West, this Arizona bullpen is rather shaky.
Well, and that's what you want to do, too. You put the pressure on a team that's already, 20-something games under 500. You say, okay, we're coming out after you early.
Well, the other part of that pressure right now, San Diego, San Francisco, looking at a scoreboard early. They don't play for another 30 minutes. So they're looking at a board saying, oh, here goes the Rockies again. They're up 2-0. So the pressure applied both ways, because with those two clubs playing head-to-head the next 3 days, if you win, you're going to gain ground on someone.
3-0, and that just did catch the corner. 3-1. As Spilborghs reaches Miguel Olivo, who's been hot as well, is on deck. Miguel 8 for his last 18. Mora at third, Helton at first. Here's the 3-1. And a big Baltimore chop. Tough play for Reynolds, and he makes it. In the inning, the Rockies take advantage of one Reynolds miscue to plate a couple of runs. Todd Helton comes through. A bases loaded, 2 out, single up the middle. Fall season. Rocks 1 for spring when it gets going, or Rocks 2 for fall. Hard to beat Rocktember, isn't it?
Well, it is. You get in the fall, and if you're a fan of baseball and you happen to be in this situation right now with 3 clubs in the West battling to get in, you got the American League Central battle a little bit. You got the wild cards going on, and the Eastern Division hadn't been settled yet. All those things make fall baseball wonderful.
You love them both. See all of the above.
Well, the disappointment you have in the fall, if your team doesn't get in, all the excitement starts about middle of February when you start reading about spring training.
Changeup's in there, strike 1 on Chris Young. 1 ball, 1 strike on Young. 2-0 Colorado. De La Rosa had a 1-2-3 first. Mentioned that the Diamondbacks have been playing better baseball, and they're playing better baseball inside the division. 11-7 their last 18 inside the West.
Well, you mentioned their bullpen. I think if they could find a closer, and not to pick on Josh Burns, who's been fired as a general manager, but whenever you make statements like I can find anybody to get 30 saves a year, they don't grow on trees, good closers. But if they could have had a closer the last couple of years, and I ask a lot of people with the Diamondbacks today, players and vice versa.
This may get out of here, yeah. Chris Young has just hit his 25th home run of the year, and it's 2-1. He can do that.
There's a lot of things people are finding out. He can do a lot of things. Steal bases right now with 27, been caught 5 times. Drew mentioned that 25th home run and 84 RBIs. See where this pitch is. You can see that they want it down. It's a fastball. They won it down, really down, but the ball, he's a very good low ball hitter for me. He knew it when it left the bat. I think everybody else in the ballpark did too.
That'll bring up Adam LaRoche.
Talking about their bullpen, right now the leader in saves is 8. Gutierrez.
And all of those have been recently. Gutierrez actually has been pitching very well.
Well, their entire team, and they got 15 total saves, and that Qualls, I know, had 12 or 13 before he was traded to Tampa. But he had blown 9 or 10. And I think that's one of the things, you know, if their club could find or develop a closer of some kind, obviously they're going to be much better. I think they've traded away 2 guys that could have been closers. One of those, Daniel Slareth, the left-hander, they traded to the Detroit Tigers. The other, Max Scherzer, who is being used as a starter in Detroit slash reliever with great stuff.
You have to have a closer.
You know what? Baseball, you got to have 2 things to survive: good friends and a good bullpen.
I like how you put that. Also, I believe if you're going to be a championship caliber team, a postseason caliber team, you better have several guys in your bullpen who throw gas. I mean, you can't have a finesse bullpen.
Well, what I think,
not this time of year.
What I think is what you need to have in your bullpen, and I agree with you 100% to an extent. I think too, you need a guy that can come in the 5th and 6th inning, when you're down 1 or 2 runs, that can get a double play ball and get out of innings. A sinker slider, a Matt Daly type, who was just phenomenal at that last year, to give you an opportunity to score those 2 or 3 runs, to get to the flamethrowers on the backside to eliminate things.
Yeah, we agree. I mean, because I'm talking about 7, 8, and when you're talking about your setup guys, you want power arms down there.
Strikeout artists, whether it be on a split, power, 95, whatever, you need a guy that's going to punch somebody out.
1 out, Mark Reynolds, who's done some punching out in his career at the plate.
Drew, what do you think the worst ERA in all of baseball is?
Right now?
Detroit Tigers, 1953, 6.17.
For the season.
For a season.
Because Diamondbacks
the
are probably
Devil
on
Rays
that
in
list.
07. Well, they're the 5th on the list with a 5.8. They're the worst ERAs in the history of baseball.
I mean, think about that.
The Marlins in 99, Tigers in 96. You don't want to be on that list twice. And the Devil Rays in 07 had just about took the top spot. They had a 6.16 ERA.
Change up away. It's 2-1 on Reynolds.
But if you have guys like Drew's talking about, hard throwers, they also have to be strike throwers. That's why the Rockies are so beneficial, to have guys like a Betancourt, like a Belisle, that run at 90, 95 miles an hour, that have very good command of their fastball. They don't walk people.
No, they don't walk anybody. And those streets, not the hardest throwing closer. You're still talking about a guy who works 91 to 93.
But very good command down of everything. And you know what? He's not scared of the 9th inning.
Not at all. And he has a swing and miss slider. 2-2 on Mark Reynolds. Yeah, De La Rosa works him. They want to come in. And down the slider. He went. Jeff Houston had it, and then Brian Knight.
Well, I think Brian Knight, he was the most important one to call it.
No.
But you know what? But from my angle, it's very easy to see. I mean, he came all the way. Brian Knight's right there, though, a little bit closer. I just decided, you know what? I can call it from down here, too.
You helped him out.
Yeah, he heard me.
188 strikeout for Reynolds on the year.
It will not be his final punch out. What he has to do is raise the average somewhat. He can't hit 209.
And he won't. He'll be a 250, 260 hitter when all's said and done. He's done it in the past. Just for whatever reason this year, it has not performed very well.
Here's Miguel Montero. 0-1. Arizona struck out more than any team in baseball. The Rockies are 3rd on that list, but it's still almost 200 short of what Arizona's done. This is a pop-up left side. Tulowitzki going out. Gonzalez coming on. And Troy will make the play. In the inning, Chris Young, a leadoff home run. The Rockies have the lead in the middle of inning number 2, 2-1. benefited on a Mark Reynolds throwing error. Took 30 pitches for Joe Saunders to get through that first inning. Now deal with Miguel Olivo, who's 8 for his last 18 at the plate.
And that's how really significant that error was by Reynolds, because after the error, he had a strikeout. Then all of a sudden the walk comes in. Well, at the end of those third out, which would have been the strikeout, he threw an additional 18 pitches in the ball game beyond that.
That's a full inning that's no longer in play for Saunders. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana?
Guys, thanks very much. A quick update for you on Aaron Cook, who suffered that right fractured fibula off of that line drive from Joey Votto that came back up the middle in Wednesday's ball game against the Reds. I talked to Aaron Cook earlier today in the clubhouse, and he shared a little bit with how he's doing.
It's going to take some time, probably about 4 weeks before I can really get back into any good activities. So it hurts. I'm starting to put a little more pressure on it, just testing it, but trying not to do anything too stupid right now. There's no sense, let it heal up, and then once it's healed back up, maybe start getting into some baseball activities. But, realistically, we're looking at probably next year in spring training.
And nobody more than Aaron Cook knows how to put things into perspective. He said, as soon as I got hit, it just hurt really, really bad. All I can do now is cheer for my teammates, guys.
Well, he went through a little bit of that in 2007. He went down to extended, made a couple of starts, and then started Game 4 of the World Series here. So, you would hope for something of the best, but I really don't see any possible way to see Aaron Cook. And it's a shame, because the last 2 starts watching Aaron Cook was like watching Aaron Cook 6 years ago. Fastball was 90-93, just multiple ground ball outs. It was fun.
Yeah, he was terrific the last 2 starts. I was kidding him. Well, I don't know if I should put it that way. I'm trying to raise his spirits. I said, you know what? When it rolls around to about September 1st, in future seasons, just wrap yourself in bubble wrap other than you pitch. So he's had a couple of significant late season injuries. Jeff Francis will step into his spot on Monday, and what a benefit that is.
Well, I think it's a big benefit
to have a guy like Jeff Francis who's just sitting there ready to go.
Well, I think it's a big benefit because he is a starting pitcher, and even though he'd been shuffled down to the bullpen coming off of the disabled list, for me, Jeff's a one-time get-up, and then you're done. I mean, you get him up and warm him up, and he has to sit down and not get in a ball game. You're not going to get him back up again. He's accustomed to starting. If you give him 65 to 70 pitches, that's what they're going to try to do, 60 total, maybe a little beyond, depending on the innings. A guy like Ishmael Rogers, yes, he had a wonderful start a week ago, but he has a resilient arm. He can get up a couple of times a game, still come in and help you in that ball game. Plus, he can pitch 1 inning 2 days in a row, sometimes 3 days in a row. If you use Jeff out of the bullpen, you lose him for 3 or 4 days till he recoups.
It just makes a ton of sense. Here's the 3-2 to Ewok. And a line drive to right. Parra almost misjudged that. He reached up and made the catch. A 1-2-3 inning in the second for Joe Saunders. Rockies 2, Diamondbacks 1. FSN is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Brakes Plus a whole lot more. And by Hyundai, the fastest growing car dealer in America, Hyundai. Here's Gerardo Parra at the plate. Swinging the bat well of late. And he checks his swing. Ball one from De La Rosa. De La Rosa's allowed one hit, but it was a long one. A home run to Chris Young leading off the second inning. 2-1 Colorado. Parra hitting .375, 15 for his last 40. And that misses. 2-0. You talked about the 5 lefties in the lineup for Arizona, but Parra, he's hung in there. He's hitting .275 and 40 at bats against lefties. LaRoche is hitting .282 left on left. Kelly Johnson .299 in the air, pretty well struck to left field. Look out for the wall, and there's Cargo hauling it in. One out. That'll bring up Joe Saunders. It'll take us to our Geico quote of the day. Former teammate of George Frazier, the great Lou Brock. Show me a guy who's afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a guy you can beat every time.
Would agree 100%. Basically along those same lines of that happen. If you're scared to make a mistake, there's a pretty good chance you're going to make one. Chris Nelson yesterday wasn't scared. That was a beautiful thing yesterday, folks.
Well, the most important thing he did is once he started, he didn't stop.
Keep going.
And 0 on Saunders. And that's right there. Yeah, Joe is shocked initially. I think anytime you get traded, fellas, that's got to be, George, you went through it. Huey, you moved around to a number of organizations. It's got to be disconcerting because you think, well, I'm always going to be, for you, a St. Louis Cardinal, or for you, Jeff, a Montreal Expo, right?
Well, I think the good part for him was he's coming home. He lives in from that area. So he was pretty comfortable to come back. That's where he makes his winter home now, is in the Phoenix area. So he was pretty excited about the fact that he could come back and be at home and be effective as he has been, and hopefully stay with the organization for a while.
Yeah, the only difference for him, he was going at that time from a team that was contending, the Angels, to a team that was in last place. It's hard. After the first time, though, Drew, it's like, oh, well, as long as you know where to send the check.
Well, you know, the thing
I'm teasing in that regard.
It's like when another girlfriend breaks up with you. Well, you know what? It's happened before, right?
I always looked at it from a standpoint, you know, I was fortunate because Cardinals to Yankees, Yankees to Cleveland, that stunk. But then over to the Cubs, you know, you're going to teams that are advancing, teams that want you, winning a World Series with Minnesota. I mean, all those things, you know, most of the time when you get traded, unless you're just a really bad guy and people just want to get rid of you, most teams are taking you over to a spot that they think you're going to improve their ball club and help them.
2-0 on Stephen Drew. Drew, after a lengthy at bat beginning the ball game, grounded out to Eric Young. That's right there. 2-1. A couple of ground outs, 3 punch outs in the first time through the lineup for De La Rosa, who's getting ground balls almost 57% of the time this year, which is way above his career average of 45%. Why do you think that is, Frazier?
You know, it's interesting. You look at percentages, I'm not sure why things turn out the way they turn out. There's certain guys just happier in different positions, you know, where they are, surroundings, all kinds of things.
2-2 on Drew. There was the slider, not the curveball, which, again, I think it has to do with the figure. This year he's thrown it less than 4% of the time. Last year he threw it twice that.
Now, the biggest key to all of his success has been his ability to throw the fastball for a strike. This ball is going to dump out in front of Spielborg's and right. Hey, why don't you make your deposit on a 2011 season tickets? Yeah, it's just $250. You make the deposit. You can go to ColoradoRockies.com, and that will guarantee you an opportunity for this year's postseason should the Rockies get there.
Rusty Ryle struck out his first time. Steven drew it first with 2 outs. 2-1 Colorado. Looks like another great crowd at Coors Field.
When you think about everything that's going on Friday night in the city of Denver, with all the high school football games going on and the volleyball tournaments, I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere in this town right now. And to see this type of crowd show up, it just tells you that love affair is beginning to happen in September again.
Well, it's just a beautiful night, too, down here at field level. You couldn't ask for better playing conditions.
Oh, and 2.
Seven starts against the Diamondbacks, so that 188 earned run average, 4-2 overall record. He's 3-0 in his last 3 starts, but none of those have been this year.
We talked about how Cargo's done well against his former organization. Remember, De La Rosa was with Arizona also.
So many people remember that De La Rosa that was with Arizona, or the one that was with Milwaukee that was wild and couldn't throw strikes, and then on to Kansas City, and because he threw hard, that arm kept getting those second chances, and then it all finally clicked right here with the Colorado Rockies.
1-2 on Ryle. Drew takes off, and it's fouled off.
You know, Terry Wetzel, the scout of the Rockies, a pro scout that works the Kansas City area, that's one of his teams. Saw De La Rosa, liked De La Rosa. Bob Apodaca had De La Rosa in Milwaukee and knew there's talent there, just need to harness it. And I don't think anybody will forget the first start with De La Rosa against the Dodgers, 10 runs given up in 3 innings. And everybody's like, oh man, what did you get? And then ever since then, it's like, we got Cy Young. I mean, this guy's been very good.
Two outs, 1-2 count on the 2-hole hitter Rusty Ryle. Good block. That's a tough pitch to block.
Well, you know where that ball hit? This was something else. I mean, I'm surprised that Olivo got anything on it. To be honest with you, look here on your southwest cam. We're freezing. See how far that ball's hitting out here in front? And right out there is the mark where that ball hit, and it just shot right at it.
As good as Olivo is at blocking pitches, when you block one of those, Jeff, there's luck involved too.
Well, it is, but it's an educated guess of where you think it's going to go in just from years of practice, and he was able to block it.
And the strikeout. Bounced one and then threw 94 just off the outside corner. He gets Ryle again, 2-1 Colorado, middle of 3. Fowler to begin things. fact. Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, they're first and third in the National League batting race. The last time teammates finished first and second was in 2003 when the Red Sox Bill Miller won the batting title and Manny Ramirez was second. Bill Miller now an executive with the LA Dodgers. Ball one on Dexter Fowler. The last time it happened in the National League was in 2001. Larry Walker hit 350. Todd Helton hit 336.
Bill Miller was one of those guys that just got the most out of his ability.
Magic wand at the plate. Boy, he could stay back and hit the ball to the opposite field. And that year, it seemed like everything happened right for him. All the high hops got through the infield. The blue pitch dropped in between people. Pretty good hitter. Went to Southwest Missouri State at that time. That's now called Missouri State in Missouri Valley.
Correct me if I'm wrong, George. Same school that produced Ryan Howard.
Produced Ryan Howard. There's another kid, Detweiler, that's pitching in the big leagues, a left-handed pitcher.
Is that right in Springfield?
Yes. Downtown Springfield.
Home of George Frazier, ladies and gentlemen.
Been in the downtown area for years and years, and a gentleman by the name of John Q. Hammonds has donated millions and millions of dollars to improve everything here at that university.
2-2.
One of the better minor league ballparks there, Hammond Field. It's in the Texas League. Tulsa plays in. By the way, the Modesto Nuts won the first round last night. They defeated the Stockton Ports 2 straight ball games, so they'll open up tomorrow night against the San Jose Giants, who won the first half in San Jose. They'll play 2 there, 2 in Modesto, and then if need be, 1 back in San Jose.
That is great news. Congratulations to Jerry Weinstein, who's the manager.
Does a great job with that club. Very good job.
He does a great job also developing catchers in particular. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Fowler, and this one's fouled off.
Starting to feel like he's starting to feel the release on that changeup, Jeff. The more and more I watch hitters on that front foot, really out front, trying to adjust to Saunders' changeup.
Yeah, we got a great angle from the side here, and what you're talking about, George, is the way they get out onto that front foot, and you just can't keep those hands back long enough. That's what he did, though.
Well, he went fastball there, and that was ripped up the middle. That's Fowler's first career hit against Joe Saunders in 5 ABs. And here comes Carlos Gonzalez.
We'll talk about on the side. You get that little front foot locked in and then the swing, and that really helped with that fastball. And talk about taking a ball right where it's pitched. Southwest Skycam shows it's right down the middle, and that's exactly where Dexter hit the baseball.
Gonzalez this year against the National League West, 51 games, 333 average, 18 home runs, and 54 RBIs, all over 43 games. Wow.
Yeah, those are...
Oh, I forgot, though, he can't hit but anywhere in Coors Field.
Yeah, those are startling numbers. And the most startling thing is the 333 average is actually lower than he's hitting overall.
I mean, do you really think, after Chipper made that and got the national attention that he got on his comments, not just from here in Denver, but throughout all of baseball, that he kind of wished he'd have just stayed in the training room?
Yeah, you know what? Chipper's always been a very candid guy about his own club, about other clubs. I don't happen to agree with it, but I like Chipper Jones overall.
Yeah, one standard rule I always tried to go by, soft ground ball. Well, we will get to go to second. I think they would. One thing I always learned a long time ago, Jeff, and I don't know if this was stressed enough to you, but when I first signed, I was told there's no reason to talk about the opposition because one way or another it's going to end up on a bulletin board. One way or another it's going to have feelings hurt. Just worry about you and yourself and your own ball club.
Yeah, I was taught that same thing, George. It must have been the time we came up because that's the way it was, and you kind of honored that. So, you know what, I'm not going to talk about the other team. I got to worry about my own team, my own personal play. And Tracy Ringolsby had a point about Chipper Jones and what he hit the year he won the batting title. It was close to 390-ish or so that he hit at Turner Field.
Yeah, he hit 90 points higher at Turner Field than he did out on the road.
So is he going to get that batting title back because he hit higher at Turner Field? I don't think so.
He hit 397 at home in his MVP season in '99. Cargo dives back. But Jim Tracy, picking up on what you guys are discussing, Jim Tracy, like every manager, periodically is asked by a member of the media hey, what do you think about what they're doing over there, meaning that the team they're about to play? And Jim, like all good managers, diplomatically says, hey, you know what, I have the utmost respect for him. It's not my job to comment on. I got my hands full over here.
Well, you don't ever do that.
You don't ever talk about,
because it's going to end up
what you think of the other squad and how they're managed, how they operate.
It's just going to get ended up turned around because that question, that's what the writer or the news person is trying to do.
Outside on Troy. Troy walked his first time. He still has only seen one strike. That was on a 3-1 pitch, a 3-0 pitch. Troy 6 for 16 with 4 home runs on the homestand. And this ball lined to deep right center field, and it is off the top of the wall. Gonzalez will have a chance to score. Was fumbled a bit by Parra, and he will score standing up on a Tulowitzki double. It is 3-1 Colorado. That was a laser.
Well, the biggest mistake was made by Parra in right field, only because I say that is when he tried to barehand the ball off the wall. If he able to take it with the glove, then you might have a play on Gonzalez, but this ball smoked. Good read by Gonzalez off the bat. You got to understand, this ball's gone, and it's going to be against that wall on the fly. But when it came off, you could see there, Parra battled to get a grip on the baseball. By then, way too late, and you got a 3-1 ball game.
Here's Melvin Mora up high. Boy, Tulowitzki's just been incredible of late. That 3-4 combination. In the month of September, Tulowitzki has 6 home runs and 15 RBIs now. And it's only September 10th, and it's still young in the evening of September 10th. More work to be done. 2-0.
When you think about those 70 RBIs for Troy, how high would his number be or total be if he hadn't missed the 33 games with the wrist injury? We're talking 2 guys that have close to 100 RBIs.
Not to really spend so much time on his home road thing and everything. I just had Dougie. I said 1980 Brett hit 390, near 400. The last player to even be close to it. At home he hit 391. On the road he hit 388.
That's pretty good balance. 3-0 on Melvin Mora.
One of the biggest advantages I think he had going in, and Jeff, you caught the back end of this, is players of that era that hit high averages playing on the AstroTurf made a world of difference for them.
Yeah, a lot of balls that, I mean, taking nothing away from George Brett, because he was phenomenal to watch and play against. But yeah, you get a few more hits off that turf. Flip side though, can wear your body out a little bit earlier too.
Speaking of wear your body out, it's 3-2 on Mora. That's one of the reasons I believe that when the Rockies position players, Jeff, go on the road, their numbers are a complete 180 from what they do at home. It's not just that this is a great hitter's park.
No, it's physically, whenever you're playing here and then you go to a lower altitude, and then all of a sudden that's what does something to your body.
There's the splits on Melvin Mora. Is Melvin a 231 hitter overall? No, he's not. He has more than a decade in the big leagues that suggests he's, a 280 kind of hitter.
Well, whatever it is, you play 81 games at home. You better be better at your home ballpark.
3-2 again. And that misses. And now there's runners at first and second for Helton. Todd's had an opportunity with traffic in his first 2 at-bats. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Best record in September since 2007. The Yankees 61-31. And there the Rockies, 23 games above 500, doing it again in the month of September. And tip of the cap also in the National League to the Phils. They're finishing fast again this year, and that has been kind of a staple of what they've done the last few years under Charlie Manuel. Outside the box, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Todd Helton, a 2-run single in the first to snap a 1 for 21 slide. Tulowitzki just doubled in Gonzalez. He's at second. Mora at first with one out. And Joe Saunders is hunting 60 pitches here, Frage, with one out in the third inning.
Yeah, you know, it seems like every count's 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. Not working ahead in the count, which is what he normally does, and then utilizes his off-speed stuff to get hitters out. But he's fell behind. Dexter, 92-mile-an-hour fastball up the middle, and then Tulowitzki, when he fell behind, a fastball to right center.
Painted there, and it's 1-1.
By the way, Philadelphia 8-4 over the Mets right now in the ninth, and Atlanta over St. Louis 8-6. Carpenter's still in the game for St. Louis and giving up 8 runs.
What I was going to say a moment ago, this isn't the same Joe Saunders we saw out in L.A.
No, it's not. 2-1.
Hey, a lot of times, and it's funny, you talk to different pitchers, and I remember I used to ask Kurt Schilling in here. He went fastball split. He didn't try to throw a lot of breaking balls. Well, if you have to rely on that coming in for one start, where you're not accustomed to release points and finger pressure, that you get the good breaking ball, you're going to get hurt by it.
It's 2-2 on Helt. And the only game that hasn't started up is the game all Rockies fans are focused on, other than this one, naturally, the Giants and Padres at Petco. Good swing by Helt, and he kept his hands back on that off-speed pitch. That matchup is Jonathan Sanchez against Clayton Richard. Three and 2 on Helton with Spilborghs on deck.
A third of his counts per hitters have been 3-ball counts out of the 16. How about that?
Next pitch will be his 64th. Ball 4. The runners were going, and now they're loaded up for Spilborghs. Stottlemyre Jr. coming out. He's kind of waiting for that. It was kind of a delayed response, Jeff, coming out of the Arizona dugout.
I think he was looking back at Kirk Gibson saying, okay, you're going to make the call to the bullpen right now, start to get somebody loose, get some activity going on out there so I can buy just a couple extra seconds before I go out to the mound.
Carrasco, a right-hander, getting up, throwing up, down in their bullpen, thinking about coming into this ball game. Spilly's had 5 shots this year. The bases loaded, came up empty-handed every time. That is very unusual for Ryan Spilborghs with his success rate.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Spilborghs hit it on the ground to third his first time. And he takes low, ball 1.
I think if you're sitting over in the on-deck circle or in the bench, the Rockies right now, you're saying, all right, I've only seen a couple of balls thrown for strikes so far, and it's been the fastball. I haven't seen throw a slow hook, so let's eliminate that. Haven't seen a lot of change-ups. If you don't chase, that's a ball. And if you don't chase that, it's ball 2.
Here's the swing pitch. The 1-1 count. The numbers on Spilborghs with the bases loaded in his career. And this is popped up in a difficult area. Down the right. That's almost overrun, and it's dropped. It was overrun by Parra. You could see that, Huey, from up here. I imagine from where you are, you could see it.
Yeah, I stood up to try to look, get a better angle, see how close it was going to be towards the foul line, and then also the stands over here down the right field line. And Parra runs hard after. Remember this, so Parra normally plays left field. He played a lot with Upton being the right fielder, and now maybe that factored into it. He just overran it, plain and simple.
Yeah, he really did. An error on him. That'll be his 4th.
Two and two on Spilborghs. Rockies took advantage of an error on Mark Reynolds in the 1st inning. See if they can take advantage here. 3-2. And now they've gone as far as they could dance. Spilborghs struck out yesterday in the 8th inning with a man at 3rd. That was before Nelson stole home. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4. Saunders has walked 3 in a row, and he forces in a run. Good at bat from Spilborghs. Tulowitzki crosses. 4-1 Colorado.
3 really good at bats in a row. Mora, Helton, and Spilborghs, all 3 put themselves in a position and they continually fell behind. All Stottlemyre could do is go, is he ready or not? Show me the hat off. Show me something. We're killing time down here.
Now they're killing time on the field. Do you know what that was reminiscent of for me, Jeff Houston? Jim Tracy is a big fan of how the Philadelphia Phillies lineup day in and day out approach each at bat. They grind out at bats, and they have guys who hit it over the wall, guys who hit for high average, but they work deep counts. And that's what you're seeing the Rockies do here to Joe Saunders.
Well, that's why he has 70 pitches now, 37 strikes, 33 balls. And it's also the mentality. You say, okay, if you're not going to throw me a strike, I'll leave it to the next guy.
Now Kirk Gibson is going to make it an early night for Joe Saunders. He goes just 2 1/3. And Gibson will take the baseball from Saunders. Tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Xfinity Voice, unlimited local and long distance calling. Call 1-800-XFINITY. DJ Carrasco will come aboard when we return. 4-1 Rockies. Did a smart thing a while back. We started a College Invest 529 saving plan for each one of our 3 kids. With college costs continuing to rise, you need to do the same thing. The way to contact them is go online, collegeinvest.org. When you remove that money for college costs down the road, college, when you're paying those checks, it'll be removed tax-free. You want to find out more information, go to collegeinvest.org. And you don't have to be a big hitter to get started. It's collegeinvest.org. DJ Carrasco is on board in relief of Joe Saunders, who came into this ball game 2-0 against the Rockies, but that's when he was pitching for Anaheim.
Yeah, not a very good result for him at all tonight. 4 walks in the ball game in 2 1/3 innings. The appearance is 59th for DJ Carrasco. ERA around 363, inherited runners. You see all the numbers there. Interesting note here. I thought it was 13th time this year the Rockies have drawn a walk with the bases loaded. Talked about being 3rd in strikeouts. Obviously pretty patient when men get on base.
Now the bases are still loaded. Mora, Helton, Spilborghs on base for Miguel Olivo. And he gets a breaking ball for a strike.
Yeah, the shortest outing for Saunders came against the Detroit Tigers this year in April. 2 2/3 innings in that start.
13 home runs, 52 driven in for Olivo. And that's a strike also.
1 for 8 in his career against Carrasco. He does have a home run.
More bend in the knees now for Miguel. He's trying to get it in play. And he'll get it in play plenty. Deep left center field. Nobody's going to touch this one. They could clear the bases. Spilborg's around third. He'll score easily. Here goes Olivo. 3-run triple. Make it 7-1 Colorado. He went to the breaking pitch one time too many.
Kind of his mark when he comes into the ball game. He pitched with Pittsburgh earlier this year where he appeared in 45 ball games. This breaking ball in the Hyundai Cam just hung right smack in the middle. Everything with a 2-strike count. Upper half swing, strength showing there by Olivo, and he's going to scoop around second and make the move as he heads into third base with his 6th triple of the year.
And his 11th triple in the last 2 years. 7 more than any other catcher in baseball. And here's a fly ball to deep left. This is going to go over the head of Rama. Extra bases for Jorge De La Rosa. It is 8-1 Colorado. Always pretty, Huey, when you look at an outfielder. He's got his back turned to the infield, the dead sprint toward the wall.
Well, even before he hit this ball, I was looking out there going, man, he looks awful short out there as far as distance from home plate. And he just had to turn and go on a sprint. And that ball hit right by the warning track. And this is what you have to do, though. When you've got a team on the ropes like the D-backs, you have the bases loaded, you have to get one of those hits just to extend this, to get a lot of breathing room.
Eric Young, a single and a line out. Yeah, we've got tacos, fans. Don't forget, make your way to Taco Bell tomorrow. Giambi and Olivo will, between 4 and 6, to get your Rockies taco special. To second, and De La Rosa not real familiar with being out there in that situation, trying to cross over on a hard ground ball. Jim Tracy's already moved on, giving the signals to Richie Dower with 2 outs and Eric Young at first. De La Rosa, despite that miscue, hearing it from the crowd.
I'll give him a chance to catch his breath now.
Yeah, not the worst thing in the world. The Rockies have hit around here in the third. .65 on that fielder's choice. And Dexter Fowler, 1 for 2. He reached in the first on an error and scored. I know one thing's for certain. They're underway in San Diego, and George made mention of this earlier. Both the Giants and Padres are aware that the Rockies are up big. Swung on and missed.
Yeah, managers can tell you all they want to about, one day at a time, one game at a time, and worry about what we're doing. Don't worry about the others. But it's hard not to look up and see 8-1 and go, wow, they're at it again.
One and two.
With a 7-run lead, I know that nothing's safe at Coors Field, but you feel comfortable about it. On a 1-2 count, you might see Young try to get into scoring position.
Here's the 1-2. EY going, and not even close for Eric Young. His 16th stolen base. much higher percentage this year in his second go-round in the big leagues, Jeff, than last year.
Well, he's just not running at will. I mean, now he has a little bit of a plan, a purpose when he goes out there and studying pitchers a little bit more, and also, quite frankly, a little bit more relaxed, so his natural ability can take over.
Well, I think the key is what you said, is the ability to study pitchers. Before, he thought his natural speed would just outrun everything, regardless of who was on the mound or who was behind the plate. And now you have to put that extra effort in, even though you got blazing speed. Put it in to make sure that you understand pickoff moves, catcher's reaction behind the plate.
3-2 on decks. And Carrasco able to strike out Fowler. Very productive inning for the Rockies, to the tune of 6 runs. They take an 8-1 lead. The big blow, a bases loaded triple for Miguel Olivo. Uniform here tonight to have stolen home is their first career stolen base. That's a great question. I know he's one of them. That's a given. Kelly Johnson to lead things off in the 4th inning. Arizona trailing 8-1. Jorge De La Rosa's allowed 2 hits, a home run to Chris Young in the 2nd and a 2-out single to Stephen Drew last inning. Kelly Johnson 7 for his last 21 at the plate after an 0 for 16 spell. 2-0. Hitting just below 300 left on left this year. Here's the 2-0. And that's in there. 2-1.
Bring a new or gently used children's book to the September 12th game for the Rockies annual book drive. Arizona Diamondbacks are in town, and make sure you be a part of that.
Let's see where De La Rosa goes here. Olivo giving him a battery of signs. They set up away, and he strikes him out on a slider. That is strikeout number 5 for De La Rosa.
Right out of the hand, big break, hard break onto that outside corner. And that's the thing about it. You can throw a pretty good slider. Now, Johnson stayed on that well, and his bat was under versus over the top of it. A bit of a lift to it.
Chris Young hit a home run his first time up. It's his 11th career home run against the Rockies. That's more than anybody else in baseball the last 3 years. And his teammate Mark Reynolds has 10. Adrian Gonzalez of the Padres has 9, Justin Upton 8. And then Stephen, Drew, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp all with 7. Here's the 1-0. And that's in there, 1-1. So Saunders goes 2 1/3. He gives up 7 runs. 4 earned, 5 hits, walked 4, struck out 1. As we've talked about, Arizona playing better, but their road record is still dismal. 22-43. It's the second worst road record in the National League to the Pirates, who've won only 14 times. That misses. Pirates have by far the worst road record in baseball. Arizona tied for the second worst. Seattle's been awful on the road also in the American League. That was down 3-2.
And 2 out of those 3 teams fired their manager midway through the season. Seattle and, of course, Arizona.
And by all indications, it looks like John Russell will return. Here's the 3-2 on Young. He went. That's 3 straight punch outs as he's rung up by Brian Knight at first.
And I'm not sure on that look. Let's look from up on top on the southwest cam. Did he go around? Yeah, a little bit different look there.
That'll bring up Adam LaRoche with 2 outs. LaRoche hit a high fly ball to center field his first time. And now he hits it on the ground deep in the hole. Can Tulowitzki do this?
Oh, no.
It was a perfect throw. LaRoche beat it. And that's one of those deals, Jeff, where you can almost, if you're LaRoche, you see that ball in the air and you're tracking it as you're trying to get to first base.
It's like that dream you can't wake up from. You're like, oh, hurry up, get here, get here. What a play from Tulowitzki, though. Ball into the hole. We see him make this play all the time, jump up, spin. But the thing that always amazes me about Troy is the way the throw is on the money. Every single time. I mean, Todd Helton's stretching out there. Yeah, LaRoche beat it by a step. But every throw, no matter how he makes it, where it's from, the angle, is picture perfect.
Well, I think it's the mullet. What do you think?
You know what? Go with it.
I think it's the mullet.
I don't think there's any question. It's got to be the mullet. He's a terrible player before he put the mullet on.
I think the mullet is the whole deal.
He's amazing, isn't he? That's one of the greatest infield singles I've ever seen, defensively. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, we've talked about Carlos. We've talked about Ubaldo. I mean, to me, if Troy doesn't win a Gold Glove this year, something's definitely wrong.
Well, for me, there's 2. I mean, Gonzalez, you mentioned, and Tulowitzki also. The only thing that's going to hurt Troy is missing 33 games. Tardy with the swing is Mark Reynolds. It's 1-2. Tulowitzki has the highest fielding percentage of any National League shortstop, 985, slightly ahead of Stephen Drews at 983. And, you know, it may be his turn because, and here's why. Jimmy Rollins had a lock on that award. Jimmy Rollins has missed even more time than Tulowitzki this year with a calf injury, 2-2. So maybe the coaches who vote for Gold Glove, that's voted on by managers and coaches. You cannot vote for your own player. So maybe the managers and coaches this year will recognize Tulowitzki at shortstop. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Reynolds, another strikeout. 7 punch outs for De La Rosa through 4 innings. The Rockies leading 8-1. Middle of the order coming up. 2-1, trying to make it 8 straight victories. Today's Fast Cash Sideline Report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Here again, I used to say this about Ted Koppel. Here again, Ted Koppel. Here again, Alana Rizzo.
It's been a long time since we've last spoken. A heck of a third inning by the Colorado Rockies. Just a quick update for you on outfielder Justin Upton for the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is the 9th game that he has missed with the shoulder injury that he sustained from an awkward swing that he took. He had an MRI on Tuesday and had some very encouraging signs. Interim General Manager Jerry DiPoto said that it's a strain. He's day-to-day, but there's no reason to think that it's a long-term injury. Now, Justin Upton said last week that it was related to his labrum, and his older brother, B.J. Upton, had surgery on his labrum just 2 years ago. Again, obviously with the Rays, but Justin Upton, strained day-to-day. We may not see him in this series, guys.
No, we don't expect to see him in the series. And, you know, the young player, as gifted as he is in Arizona, playing out the string, there's no point in pushing it.
Why would you?
No.
I'll tell you what, the Rockies fans have missed a couple of pretty good young players the last 2 series. Bruce with the Cincinnati Reds down, and then now with Upton. So that's kind of catching a break if you're the Rockies. That's a big right-handed bat.
Well, Carlos Gonzalez goes down swinging for the 2nd time in the ballgame. He chases upstairs. This day in history brought to you by Dex One. Troy Tulowitzki, 3 years ago, hits his 20th home run of the season and breaks Ernie Banks' nationally rookie record for most home runs by a shortstop in a season. Last year he hit 32. Right now he's got 18, including tonight. He's got a walk and an RBI double. Realize how hard this game is. After the 16-game hitting streak, Cargo just 1 for his last 9, which for anybody else, Huey, you wouldn't even mention it, right?
Right, but when you have a 16 game and you hit over 500 during that time, RBIs, home runs, it's like, oh, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I mean, he hit one to the wall yesterday.
Breaking ball, 1 and 2 on Tulowitzki.
As George likes to say, the pitchers get paid to get the hitters out, right, George?
They get paid too. They practice too,
they
right?
Practice
they
every
practice.
Now and then. Yeah, they throw a bullpen occasionally.
Yep.
I just don't think it's fair. Hitters get to practice every single day in the case they get a big stick.
High drive, deep left field, way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Home run number 19 for Tulowitzki. His 7th in the last 9 games. It is 9-1 Rockies. He is some kind of hot. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Carrasco tried to drop down and spin one. Bad idea.
Yeah, no question. That ball hung right into the middle of the plate. And this is something the ball just continued to travel. And in his last 8 ball games, make that 9 ball games now, 16 RBIs and 7 home runs, a slugging percentage well over 1,000.
And this is a high fly ball to deep center field by Melvin Mora. Did he get it? Not quite. He went on a 415-foot ride.
There's that low angle slider that he's trying to throw, and in this ballpark it's very difficult to do that because you got to hang on to the ball longer. It just straightens out and comes back to the middle of the plate. Tulowitzki let him know it was in the middle of the plate.
Here's help. 2 outs. Rockies up 9-1.
Wait. He's getting out of the way.
How do you know where the
George?
ball was? See, that's like on the Hyundai cam. I love it when they really take it and they shoot the catcher in the umpire's eyes, and they're both closed, and they call it a strike, and the other guy catches it. And umpires will tell you, I don't close my eyes.
And then the reverse Hyundai cam shows the pitcher, and he's got his eyes closed also.
Yeah.
Carrasco did when Troy hit that home run, I guarantee it.
Yeah. If they weren't closed when he made contact, they closed quickly.
Yeah, I just liked his reaction after he hit it. I always enjoyed that as a hitter, when you hit it and you could hear the pitcher mumble those words and just put his head down.
2-1 to Todd. That's a strike. 2-2. Helton. A 2-run single in the first inning, came up with the bases loaded. He came up first and second and walked to load the bases last inning. Spilborghs would walk behind him to force in a run, and then Olivo emptied the bases with a triple on an 0-2 pitch. Three and two. DJ Carrasco, the old school stirrups, in relief of Joe Saunders, who got just 7 outs in the ball game before the Rockies ran him off. 3-2, and Helton didn't get that one. In the inning, the Rockies get another run. Troy Tulowitzki, who's been doing a lot of jogging lately, with his 19th of the year, 7 in the last 9 days. Buy Big Brothers Big Sisters. Donate your car and you'll get a free tow, a tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. And by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. The Great Colorado Payback on Arizona right now. I don't know what they're paying him back for right this moment, but they're up 9-1. Jorge De La Rosa has been outstanding. Miguel Montero at the plate. He takes ball one. Montero hit a pop to short his first time up. Of the Arizona regulars, it's not only that they've struck out more than any other team in baseball. It's high, 2-0. The player with the highest batting average of regulars has a .276 average. That's Miguel Montero.
Well, there's no doubt there's work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you hope to have 2-3 guys who are hitting above that.
Well, and they've got a lot of guys in their lineup, too, that have well over 100 RBIs. I mean, Kelly Johnson has 127, Chris Young, of course, LaRoche and Reynolds. And that's not even factoring in Justin Upton, who's not in there tonight. Let's say RBIs amid strikeouts.
I was going to say that's a lot of runs.
No.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm looking at my book, and I just looked at the wrong number.
There's a lot of ribbies.
A lot of strikeouts.
We knew what you meant.
I know. I just want to clarify.
Here's the 2-2 on Montero. And clearly another strikeout. De La Rosa in search of his 7th win of the year. And a broken bat flare that's going to drop. So a leadoff single, 4th hit for Arizona. And that'll bring up Gerardo Parra. AT&T trivia question. There are 2 people in uniform here tonight to have stolen home as their first career stolen base. The other gentleman's in uniform, but he doesn't play anymore. Bo Porter. Bo stole home for his first career bag back in 1999. Now, Chris Nelson is the first player in Rockies history to have a straight steal of home. In other words, it wasn't the back end of a double steal. You see those from time to time on 1st and 3rd situations. Last guy to steal home, Matt Holliday in 2006 in Los Angeles as part of a double steal. Brad Hopp was on the front end of that. If you look at some of the names on here, I'm going to read some of these. They're not all flyers. And folks, Chris Nelson's not a flyer. He has, you know, average, maybe slightly better than average speed. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1-2 on Parra. Go back to 1993. For those that remember, Huey, you were still playing, but you played against this guy. Charlie Hayes was pretty slow, right?
Oh, real slow.
Real slow.
Yeah, sundial slow.
Yeah. Well, on the back end of a double steal, he stole home back in 93. Bichette did it. Bichette actually ran pretty well. Stole more than 30 bases 1 year. Down the line, that's a fair ball. Right on the chalk. Going to 3rd is Montero, to 2nd, Parra.
That's one thing this club can do. It can raise up its ugly old head. I can tell you that. They can do some things in a hurry, and some of it has a lot to do with luck, and that's luck. That ball stayed in fair territory. It shot off, and I don't know if this fan got a glove on it or not, but you got 2nd and 3rd now, and nobody out.
Cole Gillespie's going to pinch hit for DJ Carrasco.
He's pinch hit 7 times. He's got a couple of hits. Gillespie does.
So continuing that list, Larry Walker did it. The Big Cat did it, George. Eric Young Sr. did it. That's not a surprise. Ellis Burks, not a surprise. Quentin McCracken could really run. How about Kevin Ritz? They paid attention. Eric Young in a 1st and 3rd situation, stealing 2nd. That's fouled off. Helton did it in 1998 with Mike Lansing in a 1st and 3rd deal. Tom Goodwin did it. Tom could fly. Helton did it again in 2000. With Butch Husky, of all people, on 1st. Listen to some of the names. Folks, I don't know if you remember Butch Husky. He was a big, strong man. He wasn't stealing many bases. 1-1.
Well, De La Rosa got to right the ship here for the 5th inning with nobody out. Apodaca's been out to visit 1 time, and it's, you know, make sure you stay focused, make the pitches. Yeah, you had a blue pitch to right and a lucky flare down the left field line, but you know, you just don't want to give this club any breathing room. You got an 8-run lead. Get command of this thing.
Yeah, get some outs. 1-2. Stephen Drew on deck. That's a foul ball. Rockies leading 9-1. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Chop to third, fair ball, and Mora gets his man at first. It's an RBI fielder's choice for Gillespie. It's 9-2.
The good thing out of all that, you got the out, but also the runner at second stayed there, so he didn't move up to third. Another opportunity to score on another ground ball out.
Now, if you ever watch teams take infield, you'll notice that when you hit the ball to the first baseman, he'll fire to third in certain aspects of infield drills. And Huey, you can explain that, because that's the situation with Troy Tulowitzki going over to cover third. If that runner at second base, Parra, tried to go from second to third, you would have seen Helton having to fire to third.
Yeah, but he didn't in that instance because he didn't follow the runner. Or, excuse me, follow Mora. As Mora started to go in, he didn't start to creep more towards third.
One and one the count on Drew. Ground ball to second and a base hit for Drew. 1 for 2. And that missed the chest protector. It got part of Miguel Olivo. It's the 383rd time he's been hit by a foul tip this year. Repair that chip in your windshield now. Call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Zach Kroenke's in the bullpen. I don't believe he's any relation to Denver Kroenkes.
You got to find out. You don't know. You have no idea. You got to find out. Maybe a distant cousin somewhere.
Nope. Dougie.
Get to work.
Down low.
Family Tree.
FamilyTree.com, Doug. Zach Kroenke. Two and two on Drew. 3-2. I know this one. Zach played baseball at the University of Nebraska. Georgie's from Omaha. Here's the 3-2 on Drew. Ground ball foul.
Yeah, what else you know?
I know that the Diamondbacks.
Now you're going to make something up, aren't you?
No, if you were to play an old timers game, I kind of like the Diamondbacks' chances. You have Kirk Gibson maybe hitting third. You got Matt Williams hitting fourth. You got Joel Youngblood hitting fifth.
None of them played for the Diamondbacks. They can't play in the old timers game.
Just saying.
You got to play for the team.
Swung on and missed. Big strikeout there as Drew goes down, and that is punch out number 8 on the evening for Jorge De La Rosa.
Yeah, good battle won by De La Rosa, because Drew continued to foul off a number of pitches. And then on the Hyundai cam, that last one finally gets him, fooled him on the outside corner. That's really an awkward swing by him.
And now a guy he's punched out twice, Rusty Ryle. You know, Bo Porter, looks like he can still play. It wasn't all that long ago he was running around a big league field. Former Angel Jack Howell. Did you overlap with Jack Howell, Huey?
No, I played against him. And never played with him. Former University of Arizona product, Jack Howell.
Yeah, there's Bo Porter. Saw Matt Williams. Here's the 1-0 on Ryle. And he's laid on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Ryle 1 for 16 against Rockies pitching this year. De La Rosa trying to make it 1 for 17. 2 outs. Parra at second. He doubled. 9-2 Rockies. That didn't sound like the bat survived that swing. It did not.
I was wondering if he was going to even check it at all, but he must have known right away, because it didn't sound good, Drew.
One and 2 on Ryle. Versatile guy, will play the outfield for you, corner outfield spot. Can play third, can play first. De La Rosa didn't like something. He's going to start over again. And this kicks away from Olivo. It'll be a wild pitch. Parra to third.
Olivo trying to do what he could on a 1-2 count, keep this ball out in front of him. Just doesn't have an operation to keep this thing out in front. 7 wild pitches now for De La Rosa. By the way, Olivo, if you're wondering, has 9 pass balls this year.
Two and 2 on Rusty Ryle. Now this time Olivo.
Well, because what happens even with the runner at third, sometimes you start to go through multiple signs, and all of a sudden the catcher or pitcher goes to his set position. You don't know if he's thinking fastball or curveball or what. With the runner at third, you got to be on the same page.
And a pop up to shallow left. Carlos Gonzalez waiting. And a nice job by De La Rosa. After a single and a double to begin the inning, he gives up only 1 run. 9-2 Rockies. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, Ryan Spilborghs, Miguel Olivo, and the slugger Jorge De La Rosa coming up. Here's a CU fan. I'm sure there's many in the house tonight. And tomorrow afternoon, CU will take on Cal in Berkeley, and we'll have it for you right here on FSN Rocky Mountain, beginning at 1:30 in the afternoon. Again, that's CU and Cal tomorrow right here on FSN Rocky Mountain, 1:30 the start time. Colorado started with an impressive 24-3 victory over their rivals from Fort Collins, CSU Rams. Rams will be on the road in Reno to take on the University of Nevada. Very good offensive team, particularly when they throw the ball.
Well, this is the spot you try to find him, and this is it. This is his major league debut.
And this call to the bullpen, George, is brought to you by Xfinity Voice, unlimited local and long distance calling. Call 1-800-XFINITY. And his first big league pitch is a strike to a guy who yesterday played his 500th big league game. All in a Rockies uniform, Ryan Spilborghs. Career .280 hitter in 500 games. No swing. 1-1. Spilly in 500 games. He's driven in 186. Now with 501, he's driven in 187 with the RBI walk in his last at bat. And a ground ball toward the hole and underneath the glove of Kelly Johnson for a base hit. He was swung over Huey up the middle.
He got a good break on it, but it just had too much topspin on it. The only way he would have been able to stop it if he tried to dive and then get up and throw him out.
Carrasco went an inning and 2/3 and gave up a couple of runs. Here's Olivo. He drove in 3 with a triple his last time up. 6 triples on the season for catcher Miguel Olivo. The most in the last 40 years by a catcher's Darryl Porter with 8. And this is a major league pop-up. I haven't said that in a while. That was up there. 1 out. And here comes the big bat in the lineup, Jorge De La Rosa.
And don't forget the Giants are coming to town. That's right, the Giants, when the Rockies come off the road trip September the 24th. And guess what? Fireworks night on that night. 1-800-388-ROCK, or just go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
De La Rosa's last time up drove a double over the head of Rusty Ryle in left to score Olivo. And that's a beautiful bunt. Nicely done by De La Rosa. Spilborghs to second. And Eric Young will come up. EY is 1 for 3. He also has a line out to right. Reached on a fielder's choice. No scores. They go to the 4th inning in San Diego between the Giants and the Padres. Jonathan Sanchez has yet to give up a hit through the first 3. And back up the middle, base hit. Spilborghs are out third. He'll come home with the Rockies' 10th run. And Eric Young with his 7th RBI.
Well, you'd have to believe that EY faced him at some point this year when they were in Reno and he was in Colorado Springs over time. He's been a Rule 5 draft twice. Once from Yankees to Florida and then back, and then this time the Yankees lost him in the draft to the Arizona Diamondbacks. He pitched the entire year this year for Reno before getting this chance to pitch tonight as Philly comes around to score the 10th run of the ball game.
Well, nice to see EY swinging it pretty good from the right side as well now.
Here's Dexter Fowler. When's etiquette kick in at Coors Field, Jeff?
I'm thinking it's pretty close to etiquette time right here. For sure the 6th inning.
Well, that etiquette can change. I mean, if it becomes a 10-4, 10-5 game, now you start running again. But, you know, from a pitcher's perspective, you're asking Jeff as a base stealer, but from a pitcher's perspective or an opposition player, you start stealing when you're up 8, you're going to get under some people's skin.
Yep.
Regardless of Coors Field or anywhere else. But if that score changes where they get back into the game, then the etiquette goes away, and you got to get after it again.
Oh, wasn't Niger Morgan? Weren't they down by 8 or 9 when he stole in the 4th or 5th inning, and it started
stole second and third?
Yeah.
Well, that was after they threw at him.
Right.
That was his reasoning for that. He said, "All right, if you throw at me, I'm going to take bases." Two and 0 on Fowler. And 3-0 with Targo on deck.
Sometimes the opposing manager, too, will say, okay, that's enough. And if he would have moved LaRoche behind Eric Young, then at that point he's saying, okay, until we get back in this, we're calling the dogs off.
Yeah, then it's a complete no-no.
Right.
Well, one thing about it, and I've heard it for a number of years through baseball, what goes around comes around. You start rubbing it in other people, you're going to get it rubbed on you one day, and you're not going to like it.
That's on the corner, 3-2. You know, we didn't mention, fellas, it's disco night at the ballpark.
I think I'm the only one that old enough to remember all that in this broadcast team tonight.
Oh, you know, Huey and I, we remember.
Were you on the back end? Did you have long hair and all that?
Huey's a lot older than I am, but
Stop.
I remember it vaguely, of course. There's Dexter, who knows nothing about the disco era unless he talks to John and Trudy, his parents.
I tell you what, the guys in the dugout, when these were getting flashed up there, they were having a ball with them.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Line foul.
Of course, the last baseball disco night everybody wanted to forget about was Kaminsky Park. That turned ugly.
Yeah, when they threw all the records on the field?
Yeah.
Ground ball to short. Stephen Drew on the move is going to get Dexter. That's all for the Rockies in the 5th inning, but they strike again. Spilborg's coming around on an RBI single from Eric. Road Ahead is brought to you by E470. Open your Express Toll account today and start saving money on E470. 2 more dates with Arizona, and then the Padres, currently leading the division, come to town. And we have highlighted, we put FSN in a special color on Wednesday because originally that game was not to be televised. It's Wednesday afternoon, but because of where the Rockies are and what's been transpiring, that game will be on FSN Rocky Mountain Wednesday afternoon. No score as they go to the bottom of the fourth at Petco. The Padres do not have a hit against Jonathan Sanchez. Kelly Johnson against De La Rosa, and he fouls off the first offering.
Sanchez has been to that territory before. Been to the end of it. Throwing a no-hitter a year ago.
Yes, he did. I compare him a lot to the guy throwing for the Rockies tonight, De La Rosa. Center field, and off comes Fowler, 1 out. Time for our Quest high-speed pitch, brought to you by Quest, the official high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Joe Saunders wasn't around long. He touched 93. And typical of De La Rosa, he'll top out 95, 96. In fact, his average fastball, looked it up earlier this afternoon, 93.4 this year. His average fastball last year, 93.3.
Well, Dan, what scouts look for in that, there is a website you can go to that gives you all of those, all the information Drew's talking about. But scouts will go in and double check those things just to see if they're, are they hurt? Are they losing it because of the number of games or innings pitched? Has their velocity dropped over time? Get ready to trade for an older veteran player. All you want to know is health. I mean, history tells you what he can do. You don't worry about all the other aspects of it. It's just, is he healthy?
1-1 on Chris Young. He homered earlier in the ball game, and this is fouled off. 1-2 on Young. Chris out of the Houston area. After hitting 32 home runs in 2007. He slipped to 22 and then just 15 last year. In fact, he was sent out for a while last year. He played a couple weeks down in AAA. He strikes out here. Got a much better season this year. Not this time, though. A strikeout, and that is number 9 on the evening for De La Rosa. And that'll bring up Adam LaRoche. This is a steady offensive player. Another season of 30-plus doubles for LaRoche. Takes ball 1. In fact, LaRoche is one of 8 players who has 30 or more doubles in each of the last 5 seasons. 2-0. Also on that list, Miguel Cabrera, Robinson Cano, Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols, Mark Teixeira, David Wright, and Michael Young of the Rangers. That's a nice group to be a part of.
You better believe it is.
De La Rosa.
This fifth got a little rough. Everything else about the average of what you want.
Yeah, I gave up the leadoff single and double in the 5th inning. Be interesting to see if he's able to get LaRoche here in the next couple of pitches. Does he come out for the 7th, or does Jim Tracy say, hey, that's a real good 6 innings. With the big lead, we'll pick it up with the bullpen the rest of the way.
Man, a big lead, too. It allows you maybe to throw out an Escalon and let him go. A lot of scouts here working tonight. You can see a lot of guys, special assistants. There's former Rocky Jerry DePoto, now the general manager. Former Rocky GM, Bob Gebhardt, now working alongside Jerry DePoto. But there's about 20 guys here tonight watching as they're trying to file their reports in preparation for playoffs. Some are already doing the advance work.
Season high in punch out. of the Coors Light freeze cam. That's squaring up the baseball. An 0-2 breaking pitch. With the bases loaded, Miguel Olivo in the third inning swatted it to deep left center field, and then it was turned on the Jets. A 3-run triple for Olivo, his 6th triple of the year. Our Coors Light freeze cam. Jorge De La Rosa enjoying a 10-2 lead, and De La Rosa again with a season-high 10 punch-outs. Cargo lead it off. Little Pony first, then Tulowitzki and Melvin Mora. Cargo 0 for 3 in the ball game. Facing Zach Kroenke. And this is in the air to left center field. Chris Young reaches out and makes the catch.
Buy a $20 green pack, and $5 will go towards planting trees. That's right, the green plant pack. That's hard for anybody to say. It's all Monday and Tuesday games, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday ball games. So ColoradoRockies.com. Pick up your tickets for that.
It's been a real good night again for Troy Tulowitzki. How good? Well, in the first he walked and scored. In the third he doubled off the very top of the right center field wall to drive in a run. And then in the fourth he hit one of the seats and left. Tulowitzki came into the ball game third in the National League by a point in the batting race. He was trailing Joey Votto by a point, and he's moved that batting average up to .326. And it may go higher. Deep left field. Did he do it again? You bet! Troy Tulowitzki with his 20th of the year. Are you kidding me?
See, a lot of power hitters get into a groove, but I haven't seen one like this, folks. In 9 ball games, 8 home runs for Tulowitzki.
Man,
it's a fork ball coming right out of the hand, right out to the middle of the plate, dive into that inner half, and Tulowitzki stayed right on this thing.
That's his second 2-homer game this week, 3rd of his career.
You can look on the Ford strike zone to see where this pitch is. Middle and down, right where a guy likes to extend. A lot of power generated, he does, that's for sure.
72 RBIs with the 20 big flies.
Still controlled swings, though. It's not those big muscle swings where you see guys kind of flailing, getting out of control. Those are still very controlled.
And that's a controlled line drive base hit to left from Melvin Mora. Rockies up 11-2. Putting a hurting on this Arizona pitching staff, which is very familiar with seeing big numbers put up against it this year. Tulowitzki's just in a ridiculous place. He right now is where Gonzalez was for 16 games.
And that's how you get onto winning streaks, though, Drew, because if one guy starts to cool off a little bit, another guy takes his place.
Here's Helt. Tulowitzki his last 9 games, 15 for 35, 7 home runs. Actually, we haven't even updated these. It's now 16 for 36 with 8 home runs. That is ridiculous. That's in 2-0 on Helt. Todd 1 for 2, 2-run single in the first, also a walk and a run scored.
And that last home run might have just answered the question whether Jorge's going to come out this next inning.
Well, they've got Franklin Morales warming up down in the bullpen. I think it's a pretty good indication. 100-plus pitches. Ball game's 11-2. Let's let Franklin get an inning. Maybe Escalante an inning. Matt Daly maybe an inning.
Wow.
That's not real pretty.
Actually, you know what? Everybody else that kind of had to doctor up digitally, that's Todd's senior class picture from Knoxville Central High.
It's easy for you to say when you're 2 decks away.
I'll tell him that. I will tell him that tomorrow. You know, you have to, for a guy that takes shots every day, right? I mean, he's a practical joker, extraordinary. You got to take your shots back, even if he can't defend himself. 3-1. And hits it to right. And this is going to run all the way to the wall. Melvin Mora is going to go to third and stop there. Helton into second with a double. And he moves up that all-time doubles list. There's his 525th double of his career.
16th double this year. Watch what happens on a fastball in. I tell you, Helton right on top of this high heater. Leg kick up, leg down, hands back and through the baseball for Todd Helton as it's shot down into this corner. Then Mora, that time Parra played it off pretty good barehanded, almost had a play on Helton.
All right, so recently Todd passed Willie Mays on the all-time doubles list. He was tied with Ken Griffey Jr. prior to that swing. He is now tied Ted Williams.
Who?
Well, I'll tell you about him in the break, George. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. He was a very good player.
Last guy to hit 400, I heard.
Yes. That Ted Williams.
That Ted Williams.
Second and third, Spilborghs with the infield in, and he rips one to left center field. This is going to touch down. And Mora will come home. Helton will stop at third. And Spilborghs has his second ribby of the night. It's 12-2 Colorado. This is not the debut, the big league debut Zach Kroenke would dream about as a kid.
No, not a lot of fun going on right now, I can tell you that. They're trying to get people loose down in the bullpen. Here it is on the Hyundai cam, another look. Throwing an awful lot of split fingers, not fooling a lot of guys, even though that ball's out on the end of the bat. Spilborghs, that long swing generates enough bat speed to dump out into the outfield and allow Moore to come around to score.
Blaine Boyer throwing. That man played one way. He played baseball like it was a football game.
He played angry.
Yeah, he did. He was an All-American receiver at Michigan State. And he's actually, as he comes out to the mound, for a guy that at times seemed unapproachable, he said he's changed his ways. And one of the things that he's implemented with these Diamondbacks is he has made every player in that clubhouse realize that not only is it a great privilege to play at this level, he wants them out signing autographs as frequently as possible after batting practice, before batting practice. Appreciate the game and the fans that come to the park. 12-2 Rockies. Rockies just 5 allowed by Jorge De La Rosa. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tulowitzki's had another monster night. He's 3 for 3, including 2 home runs and an RBI double as he visits with Keith Duggar, the Rockies head trainer. Todd Helton just produced his 525th career double, tying him with the legendary Ted Williams. And Blaine Boyer's on. Miguel Olivo at the plate. Jay Payton's come out in the on-deck circle to hit for the Rockies.
Hard sinker slider making his 47th appearance, 25 strikeouts and 27 walks. Contact guy, 53 and 50 and 2/3 innings. And hard sinker prevents a lot of times that ball getting lifted out of the ballpark. Very good arm, 94 with that fastball.
There's 3 RBIs tonight. Olivo has 55 on the season. As we've discussed over the last week, he has removed himself from that second half slump that plagued him through the latter part of July and all of August. Well, Boyer gets him this time, and Jay Payton will come up. 2 outs. Runners at first and third as Payton approaches. Jeff, let me ask you a question. This is probably going to be one of those nights here in the latter third of the game, without a day off either recently or coming up, where Jim Tracy's going to be able to get Troy Tulowitzki 2-3 innings off, a Carlos Gonzalez, a Todd Helton. When you're talking about 2 or 3 innings as opposed to playing the whole night, does it make a big difference to an everyday player?
Oh, sure it does. When you're playing every day, you're going out there grinding for 9 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it may be. Those 3 innings or 2 innings, whatever it is, the last 45 minutes of a game seem like eternity.
Jay Payton grounds out to second to end the inning. The Rockies get 2 more in the inning. Tulowitzki a home run. And Melvin Mora would come around on a spillboard single. The Rockies up 12-2 on a night for number 2. The Cooney Lexus back. Well, sit back. A lot's happened offensively in this game. Tulowitzki, a bullet of a double in the 3rd inning to score 1, and then Miguel Olivo had the crushing blow, a bases loaded 3-run triple. And how about De La Rosa lining a double over the head of Rusty Ryle to score Olivo. Rockies get 6 in the 3rd. Tulowitzki hits a home run, not once but twice tonight. A double and 2 bombs for Tulowitzki. He has 8 home runs in his last 9 games. Jay Payton stays in the ball game for Carlos Gonzalez. Troy Tulowitzki's gone out. Clint Barmas is in there. And as you know, De La Rosa's evening's done, and it will be Franklin Morales taking over. De La Rosa, real quick, George. De La Rosa, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 10 punch-outs.
Well, and Ford, it's obvious with Franklin Morales, he's gaining a little more confidence with every appearance, but it's still the walks that jump out. 21 in walks in 23 and 2/3 innings. He struck out 18. And his last 3 or 4 here have started to show the velocity, the direction that you want to see Franklin Morales going, and that's the 93 to 96 mile an hour fastball. His ability to throw strikes with the breaking ball.
One strike count on Mark Reynolds. He struck out both times he faced De La Rosa. It's 10 straight starts now for De La Rosa, 3 runs or less.
Pretty impressive.
We're at Coors Field with George Frazier, Jeff Houston, and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. 1-1 count. And 2-1 count on Reynolds.
Well, the other thing, too, for De La Rosa, since June of last year, he's going to improve now to 14-2 against the National League West.
If you're going to win a bunch of games against one division, this is the division to do it against. Atlanta hung on and beat the Cardinals 8-6 tonight. Moylan got the win. Carpenter took the loss. 37,265 in the house tonight. Strike 3 on Reynolds.
Big bender, that's what we're talking about. That ball seemed to work its way out here to the corner. Yet it was called a strike by Greg Gibson.
Miguel Montero 1 for 2. That's in there. Eleven of the 19 outs produced by the Rockies tonight via strikeout, which is kind of true to form for these Arizona Diamondbacks. They have struck out more than any other team in baseball, and they may be on a record pace, not a record they want. Already it's the 9th most strikeouts in a single season. The record, they're at 1,299 punchouts, 1 and 2. The record is 1,399 by the 0-1 Milwaukee Brewers. So they're 100 away from that with more than 20 games to go. They'd have to average less than 5 strikeouts a game. Ain't going to happen.
I think they've got that record.
Well, you know what? If this game goes long enough, they may get it tonight. That's 12 as Morales waves goodbye to Miguel Montero. Gerardo Parra up, and that is number 1,300. Now you look at that list. Florida's a 500 type club. Pittsburgh is not a very good club. They're getting better, but they're not very good. Arizona's not been good this year. But the Rockies and Tampa, though they're on that list, they're producing a lot of runs and they're winning a lot of ball games. Jerry Dipoto trying to remake the Arizona Diamondbacks in short order. He just took over for his friend Josh Burns, who was let go earlier this summer. This is on the ground to second. Eric Young up with it. He's got Parra and a very good inning for Morales. 2 strikeouts and a 3 hopper. 12-2 Rockies. Stretch time at Coors Field. The Diamondbacks, they've out-hit them 14-5 tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's in-game box score presented by Mass Mutual. Again, those table setters doing their thing, putting out spoons and forks and knives. 3 for 8 in the game between Young and Fowler. Cargo's the only guy in the lineup without a hit, believe it or not. They haven't needed his offense tonight. He is shut down for the rest of the evening, taken out last inning for J. Pate Tulowitzki's had an enormous night. It is over. A couple of home runs and a double. He's sitting down, giving way to Clint Barmas. Warren Helton and Spilborg's all with a couple of hits tonight. And some changes now for Kirk Gibson's club. Augie Ojeda, product of the University of Tennessee, like somebody else we know is at shortstop. Rusty Riles moved from the outfield to first base. And John Hester's behind the plate.
Stanford guy.
Yeah. And in left field is Ryan Church. There's Church.
Dougie, bring that back here.
And the new pitcher is Jordan Norberto.
Bartone, left-hander. Another one coming out of their bullpen. Former Rocky Mike Hampton is down in their bullpen now.
Yeah, you know what? This is a really good story because Mike was out of baseball all of this year, and he was working out, throwing on the side, and Arizona signed him, and he worked in the minor leagues briefly, and they brought him up. He's been in 2 ball games, pitched a total of 1 inning without allowing a run so far. Last year he pitched with Houston. He went 7-10 as a starter with a 5.30 ERA. And he's trying to audition for either Arizona or somebody else for 2011. And Eric Young, a slow ground ball to Augie Ojeda, and Ojeda gets rid of it quickly.
By the way, I've got something I'm going to do very quickly, and I'll try to get to it as quick as I can. John Lindsay was a 13th round draft pick of the Rockies a long time ago. How long ago? The same year Todd Helton was drafted. He was signed by a Rocky scout, Dave Holliday, who still works here as the at the pro side of things. And 7 years he spent in A-ball with the Rockies. He's bounced between AA and AAA with numerous organizations. He got called up the other day for the very first time. It's just something that, you know, Dave Holliday saw and signing him in Hattiesburg, Mississippi that night after having dinner with his dad. And it's kind of a cool story. He said he went down and they took batting practice at the high school where they had a key to the lights. And he said, this guy's pretty good. Convinced Pat Doherty to sign him. And, yeah, he's played a long time, folks, in the minor leagues where you have one first baseman here in Colorado that is spending the last couple of years of what could be a Hall of Fame career. John Lindsay made his first appearance in the big leagues tonight as a pinch hitter and struck out. But he's got his name in the box score, and he's finally reached the promised land after a long, long time. 28th appearance for Norberto. 15 innings, 18 walks, 12 strikeouts. Another young arm that's good, but doesn't get over the plate often enough to stay in the big leagues.
And he strikes out Fowler looking. You know, by contrast tonight, the Rockies team that has done their share of striking out, we showed you the list. That's just their 6th strikeout of the evening. Here's Clint Barmas for the first time. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Clint, and he hits a high fly ball to right field. Parra makes the catch, and the Rockies, for just the 2nd time tonight, go in order. Only the 2nd inning they haven't scored in. leading 12-2. Chris Nelson, he did something significant yesterday. Can't recall what it was. He's at third base. And Chris Ionetta's second career ball game at first base. His first career ball game at first base was a couple of days ago. Paul Phillips, our old friend, is behind the plate for Miguel Olivo. And making his major league debut is Edmer Escalona.
That big man out of Venezuela, 23 years old, hard-throwing right-hander, kind of a slinger. He'll get out away from the body. A little bit of a showman on the mound. He pitched all the way from Casper, all worked his way up to Tulsa last year, to Colorado Springs this year. I think once he has the ability to harness the strike zone, he could be a major contributor at the major league level. Fastball will run 92 to 96 miles an hour. First pitch in the big leagues, 94, right down the middle.
So Augie Ojeda, first at bat for Ojeda. And this is a flare that Jay Payton's going to try to chase down. He gets there. Let's send it down to Alana Rizzo for tonight's great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Hey, Alana.
Hey, guys. Thanks very much. Miguel Olivo getting a breather after a very nice game where he had that bases clearing triple. Entering the game today, he said, you know what, I still don't feel like I'm quite through the slump that I've had offensively. I wonder if he'll feel differently about that after today's ball game. But he said, you know what, when you're not playing well offensively, you're really just over-analyzing everything. He spent a lot of time taking a look back at his games with the Kansas City Royals from last year where he hit 23 home runs. He said, when you're hitting, you go and play. When you struggle, you start to wonder. You overanalyze. He said, I feel like I'm nearly past the slump again. That was before coming into tonight's ball game. But he said he's really struggled since the second half of the season after that All-Star break where he was really should have been on the All-Star team. He said, I'm coming around. He's really played well this last week, guys.
Yeah, they need his offense, and you just think back to what he did in that first half of the season. And he's swinging the bat like he did the first 3 months. Great to see. 1-1 on Ryle. And a little slider, George, at 85.
Yep, he feels that. And again, it's more of his get-over slider there than that swing-and-miss slider.
It's just nice to see him come out of the bullpen and throw his first 4 out of his first 5 pitches for strikes.
And then he gets a pop-up on this slider and foul ground. Chris Nelson should have room. 2 outs.
Well, the first 15,000 tomorrow will receive a Ubaldo Jimenez t-shirt courtesy of 850 KOA and Napa Auto Parts. It's tomorrow against the Diamondbacks.
And George, it's a perfect night to have the giveaway for Ubaldo because guess who's pitching tomorrow?
You think they might have planned it?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that may be more
than
a coincidence. Ubaldo will go against the former Rocky Rodrigo Lopez. Rusty Ryle takes the ball. A couple of strikeouts and a pop to left field for Ryle. Venezuelan native Edgar Escalona.
By the way, good job by Franklin Morales. Really good job. There's a fly ball into center field. That'll make 3, and Escalona has a nice 1-2-3 major league debut.
Well done. He's got that out of the way. 12-2. Young hit a home run in the second for Arizona, and the Rockies broke it open with 6 in the third. They added single runs in the fourth and fifth, 2 more for good measure in the sixth. You get the picture. It's been one of those nights again for Colorado offensively as they're hunting their 8th consecutive victory. That's our Ecotech Institute game summary. You know, Rusty Ryle's been busy. He was in left field, then he went to first base. Now he's back in left field, and Brandon Allen, former Chicago White Sox farmhand, is at first base. And at the plate is Mike McHenry. Mike McHenry pinch hitting. He got his first big league at bat the other day and hit a fly ball to center field. Got the lineup card also that night. Church is now in center field, by the way. Chris Young has come out of the game. Still no score in the 6th inning. The Padres and Giants. Two and 1 count. Repair that chip in your windshield by calling Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. There's 2 hits aside so far in that ball game between the Giants and Padres. Probably not a huge surprise. At Petco,
on Sanchez and Clayton Richard.
Yep, 2 pretty good arms. High 3-1. Let's see if McHenry get one out over the plate where he likes it. Get his first big league knock. Well, he got a pitch to hit there, Huey. Fouled it straight back. He was on it.
Yeah, and this is the time, too, where you're sitting there just going, okay, calm down a little bit. I know he had his first AB the other day, but still, those nerves are still churning in your stomach. Still a special time.
And he draws a walk. First time in his big league career, he gets to jog down to first and get a fist bump from Glenn Allen Hill. Leadoff walk from McHenry. Time to take a look at our Breaks Plus poll of the day. Your favorite part of the season, is it spring or is it fall? I love both. I wish we had a Rocks 3, could vote for them both, but it's hard to beat this time of year when every game when you're in the race has profound importance, and 87%. Love the autumn and watching the Rockies go in September and hopefully well into October. Chris Nelson at the plate. This is his first AB tonight. Chris Nelson pinch running yesterday for Jason Giambi. Takes off maybe a little early on the suicide squeeze, and it worked out well as he steals home. And the Rockies win 6-5, courtesy of his theft of home. He's a guy that will have a big spring training upcoming in 2011. He's 4 for 7 in his first 7 big league at bats. Sometimes guys, it takes a little bit longer for a high school position player. There's so many factors. You got to grow into your body. You have to get used to the professional game, the wood bat. You have to mature as a young man.
That's the biggest thing, just learning how to deal with life day to day.
I think that's the biggest factor. It's not so much wood bat, the game, or playing the game. It's away from home as a high school kid, adjusting to playing 144, then 154. You're playing with older players that have different thoughts of what's going on. The jealousy factor of being a number 1 and not living up to expectations.
Two and 2 on Nelson. With McHenry at first, and it's a hard ground ball to third, and it's going to turn into a double play. 5-4-3. The Diamondbacks turn one over. And that'll bring up Chris Iannetta, his first at bat tonight. Iannetta started yesterday behind the plate, went 1 for 3, had a double. He was on that pitch, 0-1.
And I see Matt Daly warming up down in the bullpen for the Rockies to come on and pitch the 9th inning after the struggles of the shoulder, back, everything that's going on with him this year. He'll come on and get an appearance here in this ball game.
Yeah, he hasn't been in a ball game, George, since June 10th. One and two on Chris. 2 outs, nobody on. 12-2 Colorado, bottom of the 8th inning. St. Louis game tonight, Matt Holliday hit his 26th. Chris Carpenter in the loss hit a home run, his first of the year. He took the loss. So Atlanta won. We lead the wild card by a game over San Francisco and 3.5 over the Rockies. Now in the 7th inning in San Diego, still no score. And it's still just 2 hits aside. Luke Gregerson has come into the ball game for Clayton Richard. Oh, this ball is pounded to left center field. Way down. Oh my goodness. That is a long way. That thing's in the neighborhood of 450 feet. 9th home run of the season for Chris Iannetta. That was a monster shot. 13-2.
Yeah, it didn't take very long, did it? Got out of here in a heartbeat.
It was loud, too.
Spilborgh's at the plate, 2 for 3 and a walk. When you hit a home run to that portion of the ballpark where the center fielder doesn't really move, you have hit it a mile. You know, when he runs into him, he's as strong as anybody. Of course, for Chris, it's all about consistency, making solid contact more frequently, but he is a strong dude. And Norberto misses on his first 3 pitches to Spilborgh's.
There's 22 home runs now between he and Miguel Olivo.
Pretty good number, isn't it? And Spilborgh's walks, and Paul Phillips will come up. Here's a guy that just keeps plugging along, and good guy, affable guy, and he does not take for granted these moments at the big league level. And Phillips smokes it, but right to shortstop. Ojeda makes the catch, and the Rockies are done, but not until they tally another one. Another home run. Chris Iannetta with a tour around the bases. 13-2 Rockies. Oakland long distance, call 1-800-XFINITY. By Dex One Marketing Solutions business results. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Rockies beating up the Diamondbacks. 13-2, 3 outs to go, and they'll have their 8th consecutive victory. And a lot to do on the postgame report. So much to do that we have a two-headed monster out there right now doing, the disco duo, Tom Helmer, Mark Stout.
You know what? In honor of Disco Night at the ballpark, we bring you what's coming up on the postgame show, disco style, beginning with It's Raining Winds.
It's raining winds. Hallelujah, it's raining winds.
Followed by Don't Stop Tulo, Get Enough.
Don't stop till I get enough. Come on, keep getting hits. Don't stop till I get enough.
Plus, more.
More from the clubhouse, you'll enjoy it. More.
We're going to party like it's 1979 out here after the game, guys.
Hey, I want an encore. I thought Helmer, I thought the best was more. Can I have that again?
More. From the clubhouse, you'll enjoy it. More.
Unbelievable.
Woo! Now we're doing YMCA out here. It's an incredible disco
This
night.
is right up his alley tonight.
This is perfect.
It's fun to go to the YMCA. Woo!
Oh, they're going to have fun in center field tonight.
Woo!
Helmer, that outfit's so too loose for the disco era. Matt Daly's on for the first time since June, and the first pitch is driven one hop over the wall, a ground rule double for Kelly Johnson. I don't care that he doubled. It's just great to see Matt Daly back on a big league mound. He's dealt with some upper back issues, some shoulder issues over the last few months.
He has done that just to get back out, be healthy in his mind more than anything else. I think that's the one thing that he looks at and cherishes the moment to be out there. He pitched in 26 ball games prior to all those nasty injuries, 3.74 earned run average.
Congratulations again to Escalona with his major league debut, a 1-2-3 8th inning.
Escalona, one of those guys that you're so happy to see him finally get to the big leagues and battling around, 24 years old. Then it came in and was able to work it at a 1-2-3, had 3 fly ball outs. What are you pointing at, Good?
Well, I didn't, the innings have flown by, but George, that ended a string of 12 straight retired by Rockies pitchers. The last guy to reach for Arizona was when Gerardo Parra, with nobody out, doubled in the 5th inning. De La Rosa got the next 3. He pitched a 1-2-3 6th. Morales a dominant 7th. Escalona a very good 8th. And now Matt Daly looking for the final 3 outs. This is Brandon Allen at the plate, 2-1. Well, we want to remind everybody that this is where you should head in January. Take a little time off from your busy work schedule and head to Rockies Fantasy Camp. It's the final one in Tucson. You'll also get a sneak peek at the Rockies' new home in Phoenix, January 25th to the 29th. Guess who's going to be there? Big Cat, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, and others, including my partner George Frazier, will be in a coaching uniform. And again, call the Rockies at 303-312-CAMP or go online at coloradorockies.com for more information. It's going to be a blast. 2-2 on Brandon Allen.
He made some great plays in his outfield debut. Talking about Brandon Allen and Phoenix in a ball game where he climbed the wall twice, hit a grand slam in that ball game. But has struggled a little bit since then. That's when I say debut, I'm talking about this year, first appearance in the outfield. He's played first base, big, strong man.
Well, they'd like him to be a big part of things beginning next year. And he's going to take a seat here. Strikeout from Matt Daly, first out in the 9th inning. That'll bring up the veteran Ryan Church. It's 12 strikeouts tonight for the Rockies pitchers. Well, fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do as they've done tonight, score 7 runs or more in a game, for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 95323. Get your Rockies Taco Special from Taco Bell. Slider down and in, ball 1.
It's nice to see the velocities and speeds the same for Matt Daly.
Yeah, to see that velocity pop back up in the 88, 89 mile an hour range, occasionally touch 90. And down in the strike zone, last at 90.
He's really done a nice job the last couple of years for the Rockies. Undrafted. At a Bucknell. Pretty nice when you can make the big leagues, as Jeff Houston did when you're not drafted.
There's a lot of guys out there. They just need that opportunity. Matt got the opportunity, and if you're not drafted, you got to make the opportunity quick. You're not going to get a lot of second looks, second chances.
2-2.
That's why everybody gets so excited at the big league level now, announcers anyway, when you see a guy battle his way back through independent ball and make it to the big leagues. There's a lot of guys that do that, play a couple of years minor league ball, or they go right out of high school or college, I should say. Go down and play a little bit of independent baseball, get a chance.
Here's the 2-2. Outside 3-2. The Giants have scratched out a run in the top of the 7th inning. They lead the Padres 1-0. And they're still hitting in that 7th inning. Juan Uribe on a fielder's choice ground out. This ball's hit a long way to right. And it is at the base of the wall as Spilborghs will field it. Church is doubled in. Kelly Johnson with the 3rd Arizona run.
Fastball, inner half, up. You got some extension on this thing, but not enough to get it out of the ballpark. Thank goodness for that. Just hit down there at the bottom. Spilborghs had to play it off that little brick wall there, but he does get an RBI out of it.
This is Tony Abreu. Switch hitter. Former Dodger. Speaking of the Dodgers, in the 11th inning, they've taken a 4-2 lead on Houston. They haven't played too well lately, George.
No, they have not. I'm starting to wait on that speculation from Joe Torre that he won't be back, which I don't think he will be. But just that's radio talk, conversation talk for them to decide. You know why? Because I really don't care, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't sound like Torre will be back. Just when we were out there a week and a half ago, he was asked that question every day. There's a base hit. Church will stop at 3rd. So Abreu reaches, and this will be Ryan Roberts.
But I don't want to leave him out there to get beat up. He's throwing 16 pitches, 10 for strikes. They got Joe Bimo going fairly quick here in a 13-3 ball game with only one out.
On the corner with that breaking ball. You know, one thing Torrey keeps bringing up, and we all understand this who have families and live in the baseball world. He has a daughter who's high school age, plays softball, and he is, Joe's 70. He's spoken about wanting to see her in high school and have some time during the summer.
He's become very entrenched in the area they live in Beverly Hills, too. I mean, that's something else. They really like it there, more so than they did the East Coast.
Two and one.
And then the other factor you have for the Dodgers is what's the McCourt divorce moving forward? How's that going to impact them and their payroll salary next year?
Or who owns the team?
Well, yeah. I guess that's the bottom line.
2-2, because by all indications, if Mrs. McCourt wins in the courtroom, they're going to have to sell that franchise to pay off both parties. Two and two. Read that story. There's a billionaire philanthropist who tried to buy the Dodgers in the last go round that wants to buy him and have Peter O'Malley run the team.
I hadn't seen that one.
Another foul ball. And of course, for Dodger faithful, the O'Malley family will always be revered. Rockies looking for two more outs. It's 13-3. Matt Daly with runners at first and third and a run in. This is his 23rd pitch. And this is going to reach the seats on the right side also. Catch that, Huey?
No, it was right over my head, then it bounced back right down here.
So
Nick B, our cameraman. Yeah, Nick got it.
So you ran for mayor and had him give it to you?
Yeah,
so
well, then the Nick, who's actually holding the camera.
Oh, those guys got two baseballs.
Right here, yeah.
Look at that.
Nice job. Good from Ken Carroll.
Great night at the ballpark. Rockies look like they're going to win big, and he's got they each got a rock to bring home, huh? Strike three. No, a little low, I guess. 3-2.
Greg, it's 13-3.
Exactly.
It was close. Let's go.
It's been 3 hours.
Ring it up. Come
on.
Nobody's going to say a word to you.
And this is popped up out of play again.
That didn't sound very good down there in front of us. That sounded like a coconut hit there.
Well, I hope not.
It's kind of, it's looking up at it. Sometimes fans don't realize how fast the ball's coming down. 11th pitch coming this time for Mr. Daly. He's got 26 on the night.
Coming down at terminal velocity, right? Here's 3-2, and again it's fouled off.
See what you caused, Greg?
Yeah. 2 pitches ago, he could have been with 2 outs. All right, Matt, just throw that ground ball double play, though.
Some would say, Huey, if this was Sunday, that would have been strike 3 on getaway day.
Well, 13-3 is pretty close to getaway day.
Dinner bell calling?
Yes, it is.
In the air to left center and deep, but playable for Jay Payton. Now the work is a sac fly as Church comes home with the 4th Arizona run.
Jim Tracy down shaking his head right now and looking at Matt Daly because he's thinking in his mind he's thrown 28 pitches. I'm not going to leave this guy out here to do this and have him get hurt coming off of an injury, even though you'd like to see him finish the inning. It's still one of those deals where you got to make the move and just get him out of the ball game because of fear of injury again.
Yeah, this is all about taking care of Matt Daly. And that's, I'm sure, what Jim Tracy's explaining to him right now. So Matt will jog off. And Joe Biden. And make it 8 straight wins. Sunday at 5 p.m. on Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. We celebrate Ubaldo Jimenez's historic 18th victory and take a look back at his road to the milestone. Also, we investigate the Triple Crown. Look at Cargo's chances of capturing the most unusual trifecta. The Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. That's this Sunday at 5 on FSN Rocky Mountain, right after the ball game. Joe Beimel is on. He'll face Gerardo Parra with Tony Abreu at first.
Lefty's a $1.99, making 63rd appearance.
Chin music, 1-0. Parra tonight, 1 for 3. He doubled in the 5th inning. Jorge De La Rosa, if you're just joining us, went 6 innings. He allowed just 2 runs on 5 hits, did not walk a batter, and he struck out a season-high 10. He's in line for his 7th win. And the Rockies got after Joe Saunders. He went just 2 1/3, gave up 7 runs, 4 earned. And they continued the onslaught against the Arizona bullpen. 1-1. Troy Tulowitzki, the hitting star, again. 2 home runs and a double, 3 RBIs tonight for Tulowitzki. He has 20 home runs. Here's Troy. Spielborg's a couple of RBIs tonight. Helton had a 2-run single. Miguel Olivo a 3-run triple. This is popped up, playable. Should be the ball game.
Hey,
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sounds good.
It is time. The Rockies have made it 8 in a row, and this one really was never in doubt after the first couple of innings. The Rockies in a runaway 13-4 over Arizona. They've won the first 5 of this 10-game homestand. They have a Major League Best 8-game winning streak going, and the rest of baseball hears their footsteps. Today's delivery. Work of Jorge De La Rosa. 10 strikeouts in 6 innings for De La Rosa. His 10th straight start allowing 3 runs or less. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. The work tonight of Jorge De La Rosa. There are a lot of candidates for that award. De La Rosa now 7-4. Saunders drops to 2-5 in the National League. The Rockies